Whoa. This is high-stakes poker.
Well, Chip Jet is the massive chip leader. It's going to be on him first. He doesn't want any part of this. He's going to throw his hand away.
Yep, Chip has the chips. He's sitting on them right now.
Howard's going to call with King 4 of hearts.
And Cowboy checks, and here comes the flop. Flop is 6-5-3, giving Howard an open-end straight, and he checks. I'm a little puzzled by that.
That's right. He's got an open-ended straight, 4 to the straight. This is going to help Cowboy. He's picked up a little piece of this, a pair of 8s.
Well, he's picked up the top pair. Howard bet 20,000. Cowboy quickly called him.
Cowboy's got the pair of 8s.
Howard has an open-end straight draw.
Here comes the river card.
And another 8 comes off. A great card for Cowboy there.
Oh, yeah.
Howard checks, and Cowboy quickly bets 20,000. Now, what is Howard thinking about here, Vince?
Well, he's thinking about how he can get out of this game right now because everything seems to be going the wrong. I can't believe he's going to call this.
He's calling this bet with King High, folks. Now, you're looking at the best limit hold'em player in the world calling a man down with King High. Now, virtually all he could beat there is like a 7-10 or a 7-jack. That's what he might have thought his opponent had.
Well, it goes to show you sometimes you make that kind of calculated call. You know it's a long shot, but you're just saying maybe this other guy had a possibility of something, and he may even be lower, maybe have a worse hand. I mean, and you already have so much money invested in the pot. I still think that's kind of a weak call there.
Well, what Howard was thinking there, he knows the guy's not going to bet ace high on the end. He's not going to bet one of the lower pairs. So if he did make 3 of a kind, he might be bluffing with like a 7 and a 10 or a 7 and a jack.
Now, Mike, the focus these players bring to the game is truly amazing. They are really zeroed in at the task at hand.
Well, you would think that nearly $300,000 in prize money would keep anybody focused, but you're right, Vince. These are excellent players, and they know that they must stay focused if they want to get that big payday.
I'll tell you something. Our own Shauna Hyatt went out and she spoke to these pros, how they keep their head in the game, and it's all in this week's WPT Poker Corner. Shauna.
Keep a lookout for a win on this WPT Poker Corner. In a poker game, it's crucial to note how and when your opponents act.
There's a lot going on at a poker table that you have to pay attention to.
A lot of their hand motions, their body motions, their demeanor. You know, these are all clues that
you have to pay attention all the time.
In fact, simply paying attention might be the #1 key to navigating your way to victory. Information is everywhere at the poker table. Are your opponents tight or loose? Are they relaxed or tense? Are they paying attention or not?
Everything that they say and everything that they do could affect the way you play against it.
When I'm not in a hand, I'm still in the hand. I want to watch what everyone else is doing.
Paying attention, I think, is very important. A lot of people don't. A lot of people make mistakes.
I was actually sitting next to someone at a casino and they lit their hair on fire, and they didn't even notice.
The book might distract me a little.
Maybe you should read the book before you sit down.
Even players who seem to be ignoring it all aren't as tuned out as you might think.
Yeah, I'll listen to my Walkman, you know, early levels and just kind of mess around. And then when things get a little serious, I'll press the off button. No one knows it. And now I'm really focused on the players, but they don't know I'm focused.
Some of the players think that I'm not watching what I'm doing. They think I'm not paying attention, but I am. I know everything that's going on, so it gives me a little bit of edge sometimes.
The best course is to keep your eyes and ears open and keep your focus on the table. It doesn't take radar or sixth sense to know what your opponent has in his hand. If you pay close attention and carefully note the actions of the other players, then you'll put yourself in a good position to win. And that ought to get your attention.
Well, Vince, that was some call by Howard there, but it put a big dent in his stack. He is now third on the totem pole with less than 100,000. He's only got about 80,000 left. And we're playing 10 and 20,000, so virtually you're talking about one hand left for Howard. That's about all he's got left.
And we're back to the action here. Well, he doesn't like this hand. He's going out. Now look at this. Cowboys picked up big slick, ace, king of clubs, and he's going to raise with it.
And Chip calls him with a 10-8 offsuit. He's in position. Cost him 1 bet to call. He does so. Here comes the flop. And look at this. Chip Jet has flopped 2 pair. Comes queen 10-8.
Yeah, well, he's going to swing and bet it.
The Cowboy calls.
Cowboy's only got a shot at a straight here.
And he hits it, Vince.
Oh, man.
The jokers come off. Now look at him checking right there. And Chip quickly checked right behind him. What a nice check by Chip Jet there on 4th Street.
Cowboy was trying to play it slow. He's going to take this pot down.
Cowboy bets at the river. Chip pays him off with 2 pair. Cowboy made an ace-high straight called Broadway.
Wow.
And he's going to Broadway here, looks like to me, Vince.
Well, they are playing fast here on this ship. Huge hand for Cowboy. He's got to love that. Taking a little dent out of Chip Jet's huge stack.
Well, these guys are not afraid to play a pot. They're not afraid to raise a pot. They'll stick their chips out there. These guys are going for the win. Nobody's playing for second place here.
Well, look at this. Howard's picked up Queen, 8 of diamonds. He's going to raise it. Cowboy's going out.
Now, Chip has a nice hand here with ace-jack in the three-handed game and just calls it.
Okay, we're going to see a flop again.
The flop is king 7-6. Chip checks. Howard bets. Chip calls him with ace-jack.
Well, he's getting a little stubborn here.
The turn card is the 7 of clubs.
Now the board pairs sevens here. Chip checks and Howard checks.
Helps neither player. Here's the last card.
And an 8 comes.
Oh.
Now Chip is betting here.
That helped Howard. He got a piece of it with a pair of 8s.
He just made 2 8s.
Look at this.
Chip shows the ace high, and Howard wins this pot with 2 8s. Now, in my view, Chip made a mistake playing this pot. He did not take the lead on this pot. By that, he didn't re-raise Howard before the flop. He didn't bet this hand on 4th Street. He waited until it was too late, until Howard caught his card at the river there. But the fault of this hand can be blamed on Chip himself, and I'm sure he knows it. Nobody knows it better than him. He didn't take the lead. He lost the pot.
And we're back to the action here. Okay, well, Howard's going out, and the Cowboys going up with ace-queen. And Chip Jet is going to call it with king 8.
So here we go. It's ace-queen versus king 8.
The flop comes 8-7-6.
Now look who got lucky. Mr. Jet picks up a pair of 8s.
Chip raises with the top pair, and the Cowboy calls him. So Cowboy has ace-queen.
The turn card is the deuce of clubs.
That's not going to help our little partner there.
Cowboy checks, and Chip bets 20,000.
It's not going to go away.
He checks in the dark, the Cowboy. A king comes off, giving Chip Jet kings and 8s. Of course, he bets 20,000. Now the Cowboy, does he want to pay him off with ace high? That's the question.
He wants to stick around for the rodeo here.
And he folds the ace-queen.
Well, finally, Cowboy.
He lays it down. Chip Jet picks up the hand.
Even a train has to stop.
Well, in limit poker, you see that a lot at the end because there's so much money in the center of the pot. It costs you 1 bet on the end to call. So that's why you see a lot of guys getting paid off at the river.
Don't go away. We'll be right back from the Party Poker Million 2 on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. At the Party Poker Million 2, Poker Pro Chip Jet is riding high and looking to end this party with a $250,000 payday.
Well, Vince, with that pot, Joe Simpkins now has got to gear up his lasso or he's going to be going out of here. He's got about 70,000 left is all out of the $1 million worth of chips on the table. Howard Letter with about 280,000 is in second place, and our chip leader with over 530,000 is Chip Jet.
We are watching some phenomenal play here. Having a great time on the Party Poker Million 2. Down to 3 players. It's going to be on Howard again. And he's got his 10-8 offsuit. The Cowboys picked up a big hand. He's got Queen Jack of spades. Very enticing hand.
And he calls.
Chip's going to go out with an 8-3. Here we go with the flop.
8-7-6. Nice flop for Howard there. The top pair in a straight draw.
Yes, he does.
The Cowboy checks, Howard bet, and the Cowboy calls him. And look at this. Cowboy hits the joker on 4th Street to Jack.
Oh, man. He's got to love this.
The Cowboy bets 20,000 on 4th Street. And Howard has raised him. He's bet 40,000. He's setting the Cowboy all in right here.
This could be it. This could be the Cowboys' last ride.
Now, for Howard to win this pot, he has to catch an 8, 9, or a 10.
There are many outs for Howard here.
An 8, 9, or a 10. He knows he got outdrawn on 4th Street, but he's still got cards he can win the pot with. The Cowboy needs to win this pot to double up to stay alive, and he does it.
Oh! The Jacks are going to hold up. Cowboy is doubled up.
Resaddle that horse, Cowboy. He doesn't have to go back to the ranch yet, Vince. He's still alive.
He is one tough Cowboy.
Look at Howard now. He gives a little grimace there. He knows he got beat on 4th Street there.
No better feeling than when your hand holds up when you've gone all in. You have no more chips. You think you're going to be eliminated, but then you're saved by the bell. So here we go. It's going to be back on Howard Lederer. He's picked up a suited connector, 5, 6 of clubs. He's going to raise again. Cowboy's got an 8 queen. Now look at this. Chip Jet's got a huge hand, a pair of kings.
And he 3-bets it. Bets 30,000 before the flop. And Howard calls him. Here comes our flop. It's 2 kings versus the 5, 6 of clubs. And the flop comes Jack 3 deuce.
Chip's going to bet.
He bets 10,000. Howard bets 20,000 with an inside straight draw. Chip re-raises him, makes it 30,000. Howard calls.
This is turning out to be a massive pot. Howard doesn't believe Chip at this point.
And now a 5 comes off, giving Howard a pair also, in addition to a straight draw.
Chip bets it, and Howard's just going to call this time.
Now it's 20,000 bet and called. And the deuce comes off. A nice card for Chip Jet right there.
Here comes Chip again.
Chip bets 20,000 here. And Howard calls.
Chip shows pocket kings.
A monster pot, over 200,000 in that pot, Vince.
Well, Howard just got a little carried away there, got a little too aggressive, didn't put his opponent on the huge pair, and he has to pay it off.
Boy, a huge pot right there for Chip Jet. That puts him way up over 600,000 in chips and whittles Howard down to about 117,000. And the Cowboy has about 123,000. So substantial chip lead right now for Chip Jet.
$250,000 at stake. We're down to 3 players. Here we go again. It's going to be on Chip Jet to act first. He's got a Jack 7 in his hand. He's not going to play.
And here comes Howard with a nice hand again, ace queen. He raises it up.
Real solid. And the Cowboys got Dolly Parton, 9-5.
And he calls to see a flop. Now here comes a flop, King Jack 10.
Oh man, Howard has just flopped a cinch straight.
Now Cowboy calls this hand. Now that's a bad call here in my opinion by Cowboy.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be a nightmare for Joe here. He's made what we call the sucker straight, the low end of the straight here, and it's going to cost him dearly here. Watch and see.
Checks, Cowboy bets.
Yes, Howard raises it up here on 4th Street.
Oh, he's doing the old check and raise, and Cowboy's going to bite.
Cowboy is gone for it, hook, line, and sinker. That's not a real comfortable card for Howard. Doesn't slow him down, though. He bets out.
Oh, Cowboy can't wait to get his money in.
And the Cowboy pays him off.
And he is shaking his head here.
And Howard Lederer is going to win this pot. Now, he played that hand very cagey. He flopped the best possible hand, Vince. He let out and bet.
Howard Lederer has hit a top straight. He's starting to make things happen. We did see him dip before. He looked a little depressed, a little angry, but he is coming back strong here. Back on Howard Lederer.
Howard Lederer is getting out of the lifeboat and back into his suite.